3 years ago, a 29-year-old accountant in Ohio named Nothing That Matters right now sat at a kitchen table at 11 at night and opened her laptop for the first time to learn something called Python. She had no computer science degree, no coding background, not even a strong reason, really, beyond a nagging feeling that her career had plateaued and she didn't know what came next. 18 months later, she was earning more than double her old salary as a data analyst at a healthcare company, building automated reporting systems that used to take her old team 3 days a week to do by hand. I'm not telling you this story to inspire you. I'm telling you because her story is now happening thousands of times a month. And by the end of this video, you're going to understand exactly why becoming a Python developer might be the single highest leveraged career decision available to almost anyone watching this. Regardless of your background, let's talk about why. Here's the uncomfortable truth about most careers in 2026. The ceiling is usually set by someone else. Your promotion depends on a manager's opinion. Your raise depends on a budget you don't control. Your title depends on tenure, politics, timing, luck. Python developer roles don't work that way. The median salary right now sits at 129.77 a year. Entry level starts around 91,000. Senior developers clear 172,000. And here's the part that matters most. None of those numbers depend on where you went to school, who you know, or how long you've been in the workforce. They depend almost entirely on what you can build and prove you can build. That's a fundamentally different kind of career ceiling. It's a meritocracy of output, not a hierarchy of tenure. So let's get specific about what the job actually is, because I think most people who avoid this career path do so because they have a wrong picture of what a Python developer's day actually looks like. You are not sitting alone in a dark room typing furiously for 8 hours. Most of your day is closer to problem solving with collaborators. A product manager tells you customers are frustrated because a report takes too long to generate. You investigate, you find the bottleneck, you rebuild the process, you ship a fix, people notice, you feel useful. That loop, repeated daily, is what the job actually is, and the range of problems you can apply that loop to is enormous. You could end up building backend systems that power websites millions of people use. You could become a data analyst, turning messy spreadsheets into decisions executives actually trust. You could move into machine learning, training models that predict customer behavior or detect fraud. You could specialize in the newest and highest paying frontier, LLM engineering, building the AI agent systems that are reshaping how companies operate right now, today, in 2006. The point is not that one of these paths is better than the others. The point is that Python is the on-ramp to all of them, and you don't have to choose your final destination before you start driving. Now, I want to address the objection. I know some of you are thinking, I'm not technical, I don't have a math brain, I'm too old to start this. Let me give you the honest data on that, because I don't want to give you empty motivation. I want to give you facts. Only 23% of AI job postings now require an advanced degree, down from 67% just 6 years ago. Companies have learned, sometimes the hard way, that a computer science degree doesn't predict whether someone can actually build working software. What predicts that is a portfolio. 3 to 5 real projects on GitHub that solve real problems tell an employer more than a transcript ever could. And on the too old objection, the highest growth segment of new Python learners right now is people between the ages of 28 and 45 making a deliberate career switch, not fresh graduates. Employers actively value this. Someone who spent 6 years in accounting or logistics or healthcare administration and then learned to code brings something a 22-year-old computer science grad usually doesn't have. They understand a real business problem from the inside, and now they can build a solution themselves. That combination is rare and it is valuable. Let's talk about the actual path. Because vague inspiration doesn't get you hired. A plan does. Your first month is about fundamentals. Variables, functions, loops, basic logic. This is genuinely the easiest part, and most people quit here anyway, not because it's hard, but because it initially feels slow. Push through this month, and you're already ahead of most people who start and stop. Your second and third months are about depth, object-oriented programming, working with real data, connecting to APIs, understanding how professional developers actually organize a project using Git. This is where you start feeling like you're doing real engineering instead of following tutorials. Somewhere around month 4, you choose a lane, and this decision should be driven by curiosity, not by whatever pays the most on a salary chart you saw once. If data fascinates you, go deep on pandas and analysis. If you love the idea of AI, this is when you touch your first large language model project, building something using the Hugging Face library or a basic RAG pipeline. If you want to build products people use directly, this is when you learn Fast API or Django and build a real backend service. By month 6, you should have 3 real projects on GitHub, each demonstrating a different skill, each with a clear README explaining what it does and why you built it that way. This portfolio, not a resume, not a certificate, is what actually gets you interviews. I want to be honest about something most content in this space won't tell you. This path is not easy and it's not fast if you're doing it right. You will hit walls. You will write code that breaks in ways you don't understand for hours. You will feel at some point genuinely stupid staring at an error message that makes no sense to you. That feeling is not a sign you're bad at this. It is, without exception, part of the process. Every single working developer went through, including the ones who now build systems that process millions of dollars in transactions. The only difference between someone who becomes a developer and someone who doesn't is whether they kept showing up after that feeling hit. Here's the thing that made me want to make this video in the first place. We are living through a moment where the barrier to entry for a genuinely life-changing skill has never been lower. Free, high-quality learning resources are everywhere. AI coding assistants can help you debug and learn faster than any previous generation of developers had access to. The job market, despite what headlines about AI replacing developers might suggest, is still projected to grow 15% through 2034, 5 times the average growth rate across all occupations. The opportunity is not hypothetical. It's not something that might happen. It is happening right now to people who look a lot like you, who started exactly where you're starting, at a kitchen table, at 11 at night, with a laptop and a feeling that something needed to change. So here's my honest closing thought. Becoming a Python developer will not guarantee you a six-figure job or a completely transformed life. Nothing guarantees that. But it will hand you one of the most flexible, in-demand, and genuinely learnable professional skills available anywhere in the world right now. And it will do it regardless of your age, your degree, or where you are starting from today. The only real question left is whether you are willing to sit down and start. If you are genuinely considering this path, tell me in the comments what's holding you back, because I read every single one and I want to help you get past whatever that thing is. If this video gave you the push you needed, hit like, subscribe, and share it with someone you know who's been sitting on this decision for way too long.